What have you noticed because of COVID? What's the current situation right now with the office space?
So in office space, so it's interesting because if we look at it from a tenant perspective, from a lease, so somebody who has a lease, I've
Mm-hmm.
always said that a lease has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So those tenants that their lease is up, their leases come to expiry, those tenants are looking at the market right now and they're trying to reassess what their needs are.
Yeah.
Some of those tenants are saying, I don't know where this is going to take us. I don't know what the COVID, the post confinement world is going to look like with COVID still out there and not a vaccine. So I'm probably just going to renew my lease for the next 6 months or a year as a temporary hold and as a wait and see pattern before we do any drastic changes. What we are seeing from companies that are like at the middle of their lease is that they're saying, well, you know what, maybe we need to sublease some of our space. Maybe
Okay.
we need to maybe get more space because with the social distancing measures in place, we'll need more space. Some companies are saying we'll have 75% of our workforce still work from home until further notice, and we're going to try a slow re-entry.
Okay.
So that's what we're seeing on the office side. Those that are at the beginning of a lease, I think they're in the same kind of predicament. They're just trying to figure out what their next moves are. So the people that are tenants that are the best suited right now are the ones that their lease is up.
Yeah.
They have that flexibility if they choose to go on a new kind of workplace strategy um, that that maybe might suit their business.
But when you go into a new lease, let's say I'm a new tenant, is that something once you sign, that's not something you can renegotiate, right?
So in life, everything's negotiable. But typically if you've just come off of signing a lease,
Hmm.
chances are that you'll have to live with that lease, and the two parties that signed
Yeah.
the lease are going to have to live with it. But I would never say no to a client, either on the investor side or on the tenant side, to relook at and re-examine a lease. I mean, this is what we're seeing now, especially on the retail side. A lot of companies, because some of their landlords are saying, "Don't come and talk to me with your lease," right? What they're saying is, "Okay, fine. We're going to go and do bankruptcy protection, and that'll force you to talk to us about our lease." And so that's what they're doing on the retail side is they're forcing the hand of the landlords to say, "We need to talk. We need to negotiate."
Okay.
I think most landlords on the office side will probably be willing to at least listen, and certainly if a broker is involved, I think help in that process because we need each other.
Yes.
Tenant needs the landlord needs the tenant, so they need each other. And as a landlord, I don't think you wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I can't wait to get rid of this tenant, and I want to foreclose on their space and and kick them out." Like the landlord wants to get paid rent. They're in
Of
the business
course.
of leasing square footage. And tenants, I think, don't wake up in the morning thinking like, I want to get out of this situation. Obviously, willfully. I mean, of course,
Hmm.
it happens. We're in a situation right now where some businesses just won't make it,
Okay.
and they're not going to make it through this pandemic. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But on the office side, I'm confident that short and medium term, I think we're going to see some changes. Long term, I think people want to be with people.
Yeah.
And right now, this working from home works because we are all home. We're all home. We're all Zooming. We're all, working from home and working on our setup at home. But long term, I think that as people start to go back
Mhm.
into the office space, there's going to be the haves and the have nots. The haves are going to be the ones in the office that are going to be kind of getting behind the company culture, getting behind the team building, and so on. And those that are working from home, I think will feel disconnected with what
Okay.
goes on at work. I mean, I don't know. I just think of anecdotally, like, if there was somebody in this office right now and they were here, and I would say to them, why don't, it's 5 o'clock, why don't we go grab a beer somewhere and just talk about life? If you're working from home, I will never come to approach you and say, why don't we, have a beer? It's got to be planned. Hey, Kathy, come in next week at 5 o'clock and have a beer. So those impromptu meetings that encourage relationships and build relationships
Yeah.
are not going to happen if we're all home.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's true. It's true.
So I believe in the human spirit. One of my friends had said once, he says, we all have kitchens at home, but people still go to the restaurant. So, and we had a study, Cushman & Wakefield did a study of millennials and Gen Zs,
Mm-hmm.
amongst others, but they are the ones that are enjoying working from home the least.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I was just surprised. I mean, we were surprised because we think that, this is a generation that's plugged in and they've got their phone and everything is organized and ready to go. They're the ones that are having the hardest time because they need that connection. They need the human connection.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is that in the short term, yes, maybe those people working from home and with the office space is going to have an impact, but long term, let's not get ourselves tricked. It will go.
Well, I think that long term is going to be a hybrid. So I think that 5-day work week in a physical place called the office, I think is going to be what was happening before. We just didn't record it, which is, the person would come into our office and say, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be working from home.
Okay.
And you knew that what was really going on was that, the cable company was coming in to make an installation, or the furniture was being delivered, or something was happening at home that they couldn't be in the office. I think now it's just going to be acceptable that, 1 or 2 days a week, somebody wants to be flexible and remain flexible. I think that'll happen. And I think that's not, it's not a bad thing. I think it's just, we evolve as a society. So, but I don't, when I hear things like the office space is dead, like that's a little alarmist, and I don't think that's the case.